All right, I am here with master of the bass, the E-bass, the electric bass. This is Mr. Rich Brown.
Greetings, greetings.
Hey, welcome. I'm so happy you could do this. I know you're crazy busy right now doing Zoom lessons with your students from Humber College.
Indeed, I am.
And are you still making tracks for people? I know you are for us, but are other people still hitting you up for stuff at home?
Not as much. I did like a whack of records last year, and they're all sort of coming out at the same time. So it makes me look really good, but right now nothing is coming in.
All right. Well, your phone is about to start ringing because I know that everyone within my musical sphere who's aware of you is like Rich Brown, um, and I'm super
That's very kind.
excited to introduce you to the rest of my sphere, my community sphere, which is one that am very grateful to be connected with. And I want to tell the folks listening and watching that you are, in my opinion, like the ultimate groove meister. Not
Oh, why?
only,
Thank you.
not only can you play like any rhythm, any tempo, polyrhythmic stuff, but your groove is deep, and that's why, as sophisticated as you are, everything that I've ever done with you, musically speaking, just feels so good. And I actually think you should have, a co-write on Sugar, because you came up with that bass line literally on the spot. And while I wish I had written that, no, that was one of those moments where the song was written and I brought it to you and said, hey, I'd love you to do something funky. And I mean, literally right then and there, you just came out with this thing and it was perfect. It was right out of the box. It was just hit play.
It was something that I immediately heard upon listening to the demo. I was like, oh, I got this. I know
Ah,
what I'm
I
doing.
know, well, and you made the song. You made the song. And that's, like I said, that's who you are. And you're also such a
Thank you.
wonderful composer. And I think that's why you're a lot of fun to play with, because you think compositionally while you support, whatever musicians you're performing with.
Thank
And
you.
I want you to tell people about your projects now.
Oh,
You have a band you play with called Rinse the Algorithm.
yes.
And then you also have Abeng. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Abeng. Yes.
Abeng. Abeng. So tell us about both those projects. Those are very, again, brainy group names.
Yeah. Well, rinse the algorithm. We're not as active anymore. I'm really sort of focusing more on the Abeng, but rinse the algorithm was a project that was really about the four of us: myself, Larnell Lewis,
Mhm.
Luis Dennis, and Robbie Botosh. There was a magic that happened between the four of us anytime we came to the stage. So I wrote some tunes, and then we spent a lot of time with that music and just uh, came up with more of a band sound.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really about the compositions anymore because everyone was able to just get inside each of the pieces. Um, but then with the Abeng, the idea behind the Abeng was to write music that challenged myself as a composer and a musician, but also challenged the other members of the band, and also challenge the listener, challenge the audience. But
Mhm.
I wanted to do it in a way, I wanted to sort of juxtapose that challenge with, keeping the music as accessible as possible. So, there's a heavy emphasis on groove. And if there, I made a rule for myself within the tunes, like if I wrote a complicated idea, I had to write something simple on top of that idea just to make people feel centered, not just on stage, but off the stage.
That feels like sort of a yin yang thing almost. I mean, not that I know anything about Chinese philosophy, but to me that just makes sense. That's just smart. You have to have something for people to hold on to. and when the music, when elements of what you're writing are complex, it's good to give people something a little bit more simple that they can hang their hat on. And so that's, again, to me, a testament to your brilliance as a thinking person who also wants to be able to connect his ideas. I've seen a lot of ultra cerebral jazz and felt very isolated. But I'll never forget walking into the Jazz Bistro in Toronto, and there you were with your band. It was Louise Dennis and Kevin Turcotte on trumpet.
Oh yeah.
And it was so sophisticated, but it was so, like, I don't want to use the word infectious because, the time we're in right now, but
Right.
sorry, too soon.
Call.
But I was just pulled in. And for me, as much as I consider myself to be somewhat, a thinking musician, if it doesn't feel good, I lose interest quickly.
Yeah.
And
I
so yeah.
I think that's the case with a lot of people. And I remember, and believe me, I've played a lot of music that was super cerebral and not a whole lot to hang on to otherwise. And you lose people quickly.
Yeah.
And you finish a song like that, and then all that's left in the audience is a couple of music students.
going like this.
Exactly.
I know. And that's actually why I think that there are a few musicians out there who, their music is resonating and transcending those divides. So I think of you, I think of Snarky Puppy, I think of Larnell Lewis, I think of Becca Stevens, I think of Jacob Collier, and what you all have in common is that the music is sophisticated at so high level that it keeps the music students engaged and super interested, and coming to every show, telling their friends, etc. But then you get people like like my mom could be there and she would be loving it.
That's the goal.
Exactly. And that can't be said of, that many musicians out there. That's a really, again, delicate balance. So, I love that. I love that. I love that that's something that you have expressly set out to do as an artist in the world. There's great value in that, in my opinion.
I believe that to be the case as well.
Yes. So,
Yes.
Rich.
Yes.
You're here in Toronto, and we know that you're doing some teaching, and probably you'll be doing, some more tracks for people before too long, writing some of your own music. And I know that your partner, Elena, is a very gifted saxophonist and singer as well. So you guys are probably quarantined together. How is it going for you both? I've been asking everybody, what is their sort of out of dust tip? Like, my album's called Out of Dust. We're in this bizarre time where we feel like so much of what we've known the world to be and our lives to be has been blown to dust. And now how do we kind of rise out of it or rise above it? What have you guys been doing?
Well, we've been leaning on our people. We have, we're practicing social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean we can't reach out and check in on the people around us, our village, So we're checking in with family and friends. Practicing a lot to keep the chops up and keep the creative juices flowing. Yeah, it's just been, it hasn't been as terrible a situation as, it would seem with everything that's going on out there. I'm a bit of a hermit anyway, so social distancing is no problem for me.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Well, Rich, let me ask you this, and I know I want to be respectful of your time because I know you are busy. Um, where can people find you? Where's the best place, for them to find you and your music? You've got a few projects, so is there like a central hub? I know you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on the Tweeter,
The
and
tweeter.
and it's Rich the Algorithm, a lot of that stuff, or Rich Brown Electric Bassist. But do you have a website where people can find you?
Uh, all of my music, I have 3 albums. They're all available on Bandcamp. So if you search my name,
Oh,
yeah, and
great.
you can stream all of it. But I suggest you buy it.
Agreed.
uh, I'm not on Spotify or any of those other things, but
Oh,
Bandcamp has been my main uh, outlet.
good for you. I mean, I'm definitely in the if you can't beat them, join them camp when it comes to
Right.
Spotify. But I admire those. I should be saying this off the record, but I do admire those who have kind of stuck to their guns if it's how they feel, and chosen to release their music in more streamlined ways. And you're not alone. I've actually seen a lot of people out there, even some of like the best known jazz musicians, even some vocalists who have made their music a little bit more limited, um, in terms of like where it's available and that kind of thing,
Mhm.
um, which is their form of, I don't want to use the word protest, but it's just trying to manage how they feel their music should be accessible.
Yeah, yeah.
I really respect. Yeah, so listen, my friend, thank you so much. You're such a
My
treat,
pleasure.
and I
Ah,
cannot
so are
wait to
you.
do more with you. And I'll be sure to add a link
Yes, please.
where people can find you and all that good stuff. Give Elna my love,
I
and we'll
will.
talk soon.
I hope so.
Bye.
Bye, Lila.